Hey guys, welcome back to Zmari Talks, and it is such an honor and a privilege to have you here today. Guys, today we're going to be talking about something that is so important, and it's getting clear. Having clarity as we're making steps forward in our unfamiliar steps journey, in our courageous steps journey. Let's get started. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own understanding. In all your ways know Him, and He will make your paths straight. I wanted to start with this scripture because we want to always emphasize our need to depend or put our faith and our trust in God. As we're taking unfamiliar steps and we're stepping out into the courageous things this year, our need and our reliance on God must become even more of a necessity for us. Why? Because He's the one who guides our path, He's the one who created us, and He's the one who is going to know what is the best way for us to move forward. Some of our desires are not even our desires, our true desires. They are probably things that we have seen in society and we tell ourselves we want. But when we align ourselves with God, He purifies our intentions and our motives. And as He does that, we actually get to the essence of who we are and why we do what we do. I had my own challenge with this year. Coming into this year, I thought November and December, I had a plan and I had a strategy to do things. But really and truly what happened is that when I came into January, I was overwhelmed. And the things that I thought that I wanted to accomplish, it doesn't seem to be fulfilling me, or it doesn't seem to be in alignment with what this year is requiring from me. And when I started to ask myself difficult questions, I realized that I was missing a key part of my journey. And that is my why, my vision for my year, my vision for my life, my vision for my businesses. And when I started to really question myself as to why do I want to accomplish this, or why do I want to do that, or what type of content do I want to put out, when I looked at those questions, my why was really becoming a necessity for me. I needed to become clear, very clear on what or who I am. And I actually did a vision writing workshop in January that actually helped me to clarify my vision for my life, my vision for Zmari Talks, my vision for my businesses. And it was so necessary for me to do that because now I know exactly who I'm talking to or who I would like to help in this world. It gives me a sense of purpose and a mission, which makes me now look at all areas of my life and look at, okay, how am I going to structure my year? What type of goals should I look to accomplish this year so that I could become that person, or so that I can accomplish the vision that I'm seeing in my head? At Zmari Talks, we want to be able to help persons to get from the life that they have to the life that they desire. Here's the thing. I am on that journey myself. I am on my journey of transforming and evolving from the life that I currently have to the life that I desire. It requires that I make some adjustments in the way I do things, in my thinking, in my disciplines. It requires that I make some adjustments. But first and foremost, when I looked at helping people get from one destination that they are in right now to the destination that they want to be in, it makes me now know exactly who I'm targeting, but it also gives me a clear path and a vision as to how I am going to deal with people and my perspective or the way I embrace people in their seasons and in their journey. So it's so important that we find or we clarify our vision and why we're doing what we're doing. So let's look at scripture. We're going to look at Habakkuk 2, verses 2 and 3. Then God answered, write this. Write what you see. Write it out in big block letters so that it can be read on the run. This vision message is a witness pointing to what's coming. It aches for what's coming. It can hardly wait. It doesn't lie. If it seems slow in coming, wait. It's on its way. It will come right on time. And I felt it was so necessary to highlight this scripture because it talks about, hey, what do you see? What is the vision that you're seeing for yourself? Who is this person that you would like to become? Who is this person that you would want to evolve into? And write it down. Write down the characteristics. Write down that person's habits. Write down that person's achievements and successes. Write down that person's relationships and family life. Write down this person that you want to become. Write it down in big block letters. Write it down clear and plain so that you can see it. Not just when you're just journeying through life, but when you're on the run, when you're pursuing a goal, when you're pursuing something significant, you want to be able to look at this and say, yeah, I am on course. I am on track. This is actually getting me to the destination that I want to get to. So this is just a constant reminder as to who you're going to become, why you're becoming this person, and really getting us closer to that journey. What I also love about this scripture, it says, this is a witness to what's coming. It aches for what's coming. It can hardly wait. Imagine the person that you want to become in the next couple of years is waiting for you. It's anxiously waiting for you to make the steps or take the disciplines to become that person. But when we're not clear on who that person is, we could just journey through life and really stumble our way through life and never really know our full potential, never really know who we can become. And the most courageous thing that we can do right now is really getting clear on what is this vision I have for myself and my life in the next couple of years. And what steps can I take now to actually accomplish that? Now, what we have to look at is what it's going to take to become this person. So now I'm clear on what the vision is or who I want to become. Now I have to look at what is it going to take, because I'm in this position, I'm in this place. I may not have all the things. I may not have the health that I want. I may not have the diet that I want. I may not have the finances that I want. I may not have the relationships that I want and the networks that I want. However, I have to look at what it's going to take to develop those things, to develop those habits, to have a new environment or a new circle around me. What is it going to take? So I want to reiterate that with scripture. And it says in Luke 14:28-29, it says, is there anyone who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure out the cost so they will know if they can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. And the reason why I wanted to really speak about this scripture is because it talks about counting the cost. What is it going to take to actually accomplish this dream? It says that if you do this and you run out of money, you're going to look foolish. You want to know what it's going to take and how much it's going to take for you to become this individual. Because you want to become this individual. You don't want to journey halfway and not be able to fully evolve and transform. However, we want to be able to be disciplined in our life, to develop new habits and skills in our life, even if it means getting information or reaching out and developing new skills like reading so that we can learn more, or going back to school, or just learning from new people, getting into different environments and meeting new people who might be way better off than we are so that we can get insight and perspective. We may have to learn things that we have never known before. We may have to develop more discipline in our exercise routine, which is definitely something I'm working on this year. But there are things that we can do. But the thing about it is that we have to look at what it's going to take. And when we look at what it's going to take, it may look overwhelming, but remember what we talked about last week on peace. We want to look at what we could control right now. What disciplines can I have in my life right now that is going to get me closer to the goal? So we don't want to be overwhelmed with the goal, or we don't want to be overwhelmed with how much it's going to take. We want to look at the cost, what it's going to take, yes. But we want to look at, okay, let's break down that goal in such a way that we can take strides forward that gets us closer each and every day. We're doing something to become this individual. So when we're beginning this journey of getting clear on our vision, getting clear on what it's going to take, I want to always emphasize our need to seek God and ask God for his wisdom. Ask God for his insight. There are some things we just can't do. But when we align ourselves with God, somehow we end up just journeying in the right direction. God may cause that people come into our lives that can actually help us, or we may end up in certain situations that may benefit us. But if we stumble in our way, we might crash and fail and cause missteps. But when we are intentionally building our relationship with God and he's giving us wisdom, we can do this properly. So we're going to read James 1:5, which says, "Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly. It will be given to him." I like this promise. If we go to God and we ask God for wisdom, he will give it to us. And we need to have wisdom. We need to have clarity when we're moving forward and we're making these steps. So what do we want clarity on? We want clarity on our vision. We also want clarity when we find that vision on what it's going to take to accomplish this vision. And as we're journeying and we're being grateful and we're practicing any things that we can't control in the moment, we will find ourselves moving closer and closer to this goal and becoming the person that we want to be. So as we're wrapping this thing up, let's look at really having clarity in our life. I want to read 1 Corinthians 14:33, which says, "For God is not a God of confusion, but of peace." Look how clarity actually adds peace to our life. It's something that we need to move forward. And remember, we talked about peace as a strategy. So first we lay our lives down and we gain wisdom and insight from God, because we talk about the beginning of wisdom is laying our lives down. Now we're seeing God is not an author of confusion, but of peace. And we want to have peace in our journey. We don't want to waste our time and waste our steps. So we're going to seek God's counsel. We're going to put our trust in him. We're not going to rely on our own understanding. We're going to get clear on what it is that we want to do and who we want to become in the future. We're going to look at what it's going to take to become that individual. We want to make those steps that's going to help us to move forward. We're just setting a foundation, guys. We're just laying a foundation here as to before we even start moving forward. Look at these many things that we have to look at when we're taking courageous steps. This is not something to rush. We are not running out of time. I know that we live in a hustle culture, but we don't necessarily need to skip these steps. It will not be wise to skip these steps because you'll find yourself having to come back to these steps anyway. I love you guys. This is my encouragement for you this week. Let's get clear. Let's get clear what it means going and asking somebody a question, what it means doing some research, what it means sitting down and asking God. Please get clear as you're taking your courageous steps forward. And before you take your courageous steps forward, that will help you to get to the destination that you want to be and who you want to become in the world. I love you all. Have a great week. Bye.